My titties hurt.
Yeah.
I got them hurt titties. It's on my screen.
Who gives a fuck? It's dead. Print is dead.
What the fuck?
It's not on, dude. Like, there's no light.
There's a light right there.
That's not a light. That's all.
It's a fucking light.
I'm telling you, it's dead. It's not even on. It's a blue light usually.
Your mom's a fucking blue light.
Yeah, at Kmart.
Oh, there it goes.
No, it is a white light. That's stupid. It's confusing. God damn, you're nasty.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not contagious anymore.
I don't believe you.
I'm not. It says after your flu's gone.
Yeah, but you're not even like covering your goddamn mouth. Now you are.
I always do that when I cough.
Fucking gross. You spread your germs out elsewhere.
You lick a dick.
I'm not gonna do it because it might have diseases.
Grudge. The House of Grudge. That's what he said. He's like,
He did say that.
House of Grudge. Shit. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And he's okay.
You can slice them, you can dice them, but the J-Man keeps on rolling. Hey, I'll tell you what, guys. Like, coming out of this movie, it wasn't that scary. I'm okay. There was a little urine on the seat, but that was from earlier. Like, that was nothing to do with the movie. I just had to pee really bad. But let me tell you something. I felt like Bruce Campbell. Like, you see that goddamn poster, An Army of Darkness? That's how I felt when I, like, conquered it. I was like,
To be honest, dude, it was like 25 minutes in, you were like, I'm good.
No,
I'm okay.
Well, it took a little.
It's gonna be fine.
I mean, it was a little unsettling. There were some things like fucking shit and cocks. Like, I didn't like some of the things that were happening, and it was really good build up of a world atmosphere. But unfortunately, it really just drops the diaper in your face and says, "Guess what? We just make a generic movie from 2020 for you."
Full female nudity disclosure right here. For those of you, if you're clicking on this channel and you don't know who we are, Jay has been just. His whole life force has been shooken and scared by the thought of this movie because the herky-jerky people they just scare the shit out of him, and everyone's been laughing at him. And if you watch the trailer reactions, the whole idea of the shaky lady from The Grudge just scares the fucking tits off.
Let me tell you something. The way I quitted all day at work, when I was at work today, I knew I had to go see this goddamn cocksucking movie. I felt like I was getting ready to fight the bully at the end of school.
Like maybe 3 o'clock.
Like, yeah, like I was scared. Like I don't like confrontation, and I knew I had to fight him. But when you get there and you find out that he has debilitating asthma and he wears Crocs, and he's a part of the debate team, and you're like, what was I scared of? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. But I mean, all day I've got the shakes. My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy.
Spaghetti.
All that shit was going on in my head. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta fight this guy. I gotta fight him. And like I was trying to figure out like who I was gonna like. Maybe I can come up with an excuse. Maybe I could tell Mike. I'd text him like, "Hey man, I just rear-ended somebody."
I was waiting on it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was like,
I was ready to.
I was like, "Hey man, I rear-ended somebody. I can't make it." And like, show me pictures.
That's what I said too. I'm like, show me your bumper, dude.
And then I would just send you pictures of Google images like that look like my car. But either way, I got there. I managed it. And to be honest with you, if you were like me and scared of that herky-jerky possibility of something that really disturbs you,
no one's as scared as that.
Imagery, yeah, I'm fucking terrified of it. And honestly, it really wasn't that bad. Like, it had some cool moments in it. It had some decent imagery, but overall, like, I mean, what you got was what you got. You got a January horror movie.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
That's why it costs $10.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, so I went into this thing and the same thing. So Nicholas Pesci's the director of this, and I wrote an article like months and months ago. I'm like, why The Grudge might actually be fucking good.
Yeah.
But then they moved it to January, and it's like, okay, a Grudge reboot, and it's in January, which, as everybody knows, January is where horror movies go to die. Typically, if it's put out in January, it sucks shit. But I was even thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know. There's something about this. The trailers looked really good.
Yeah.
Lynn Shay, her moment in the Lynn Shay's a great actress. I love to see her in horror movies. But to be fair, she does do a lot of bad horror movies too on the side. But Lynn Shay in the movie, John Cho's a good actor, and then Nicholas Pesci was the one thing, and I might be saying his name wrong, but he was the one beacon in the night for me because I was like, The Eyes of My Mother was a movie that came out like 2 years ago, and it was actually, dude, it was actually super fucking scary and like under the surface, gnarly and weird.
What's wrong with your mother's eyes?
And I thought,
what's wrong with them?
I thought that
Weed.
he was the perfect director to take this. So I'm thinking, okay, this might be that one thing that comes out in January and just fucking puts a finger in your butt.
I mean, it's a possibility.
I thought that. And you know what? I couldn't put it together. Like, January horror movie plus Nicolas Cage doing The Grudge, they don't mix and match. And now after seeing the movie, you see how they mix and match. Because the thing is, the whole movie looks really good. It has an awesome fucking cinematography to it.
It does.
It feels like what I would have imagined him doing a Grudge movie to look like. And the acting's good in it, and the aura's there, and it's all good. It's just so not fucking entertaining. And it's just so not... scary.
You know what it is? It's like being invited to a nightclub, and on the outside it looks fucking amazing, and there's people lined up for it. It's all like magical, and it's got unicorns flying up over the goddamn yawning, and you're like, wow, I'm gonna get fucking mind shit on in this place.
It's awning.
And then
it's just awning.
Whatever.
It's not yawning.
I yawned in the movie.
It's just yawning.
But when you walk in, it's Walmart. You're like, what is this? Was there a special? But like honestly, like Lin Shaye and the cast is great. Like really. The acting is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the acting, and they do a decent job of building up atmosphere throughout the film. Like the film has decent atmospheric building elements to it. The problem is that when they start relying, it's like. Because they're doing the intersecting stories and they're time jumping back and forth because I think there's 3 stories or 4 stories that are going on at the same time, and that's actually pretty cool and unique. I just got lost sometimes in the way that they did them, the way that they handled the storytelling elements of the intersecting storylines that were happening with different characters. I think it could have been done a little bit more tightly, and it almost felt like the guy had a lot more ambitious plans for the film. Like he had more ideas that he wanted to explore, but because they only maybe give him an hour and 34 minutes that he gets, they're like, he ran out of time. He's like, all right, like boom, fuck. Like, well, we got to start doing something. And
it didn't need any more minutes either because it was already felt long in the tooth at an hour and 30 minutes.
Well, he plays around with the mythos of the Grudge character, you know, or like the ghost that haunts your ass if you die violently. Like, you just get over it. Go to hell or heaven. Get over it.
Come here. I haunt your ass.
Get your ass back at the top. But yeah, like he plays around with that, and that's pretty neat. Like he kind of explores a little bit more, and it does tie back to Japan, which is pretty cool. So this is not really a reboot. Or it's not a remake, it's a reboot-ish kind of. It's in the booty somewhere, but it's not like a reboot.
It's somewhere in the booty.
It's somewhere in the booty. It's a gerbil running loose.
It's somewhere in my ass.
It's a gerbil. Fucking goddamn it!
Did you grab my ass? You're barking up the wrong tree if you did.
Oh man, Richard Gere, you little minx, you. But no, either way, it plays around with that, but it's not really. It's not a remake. It's a reboot. Like I don't know. It's something. It ties in with the original Grudge, but not really ties.
There's a lot fucking going on, man. There's just so much going on at once. It's just like just fucking scaring me already.
Honestly, I didn't. There were a few moments that do genuinely creep you out. And there are some disturbing things that happen, and not like a lot. There's one, and you and I talked about it, like toward the end. It was like, wow, like that was fucked up. And then there's and then there's some brutal stuff like gore that happens, but it's not due to the ghost doing anything. It's just like that could happen on goddamn Live PD. I see. You know what I mean? Like when a bitch is driving and her fucking arm breaks because she hits the brakes too hard and she hits part of a tree and her fucking arm. You're like, I see that. I see that shit on fucking Faces of Death. But I'm not. But other than that, the world building elements were there, and he does a decent job of trying to build up something, but there's no like end result to it. It just kind of fizzles out. Like and unfortunately, and maybe because I'm older now, like the Grudge, the 2004 remake was it scared the fuck out of me. It really did. And looking back on it now, like I haven't watched it in a while. Maybe I can go back and revisit it. Maybe I was just younger then. I was more impressionable then, and like I maybe more freaked out than it actually is. Because you hated it. You didn't like it.
It was one of the 4 movies in my life I walked out of. I was so fucking bored.
Maybe I got, you know what it was? Maybe I got that kind of confused with The Ring, because it kind of happened during The Ring actually scared the fuck out of me, and I do remember that. Like that really was a scary movie. But maybe I got it kind of confused with The Grudge. But also, I want to point out, and just really quick, I know you got some thoughts on it. I'm going to let you have it, but I'm just going to say, the way they made, or the way they explored the Grudge curse, I thought was a decent idea. Like it was kind of different than what I'd seen before,
I agree with
where
that.
It's just like centered on one thing. They kind of spread it out and made it an actual curse, and I'm down with it, except the fact that one of them looks like the guy from the goddamn Seagram's Liquor. Fucking Captain or Long John Silver, like fucking mad.
They don't look good.
And then the makeup effects, or the lack thereof, I should say, the lack thereof are practical effects, which we've always said there's still room for it in 2020. I feel like the girl in the Grudge, the original Grudge, and then in the 2004 remake was way scarier and more effective because they had her, they just used makeup. They got a contortionist. They made it, kind of weird and herky jerky, and that. Even if the movie sucked, at least that imagery stuck with you.
Yeah, this was the backwards effect of that. Yeah, you're dead on, man, because I thought that too. It was very, like, when the actual ghouls and ghosts would pop up, when the shit would happen, it was very, very Conjuring spin-off universe. As like a pop-up, CGI, whatever the fuck. Now, there were a couple scenes, as you mentioned, the Lin Shaye scene, some of the stuff you saw in the trailer, a couple quick moments that were legitimate, what you kind of wanted. Yeah. Like, what you wanted, like, dark, fucked up, the onion chopping thing, and the tabagoda.
She doesn't watch Julia Childs.
Those shits, those little moments were really good, but they never just honed in on them. They're like, okay, well, let's go over here now, and then like let's have a closet jump scare with a face and the camera lens, and it was just never. And I feel this way about the whole Grudge franchise. Every Grudge movie I've watched so far, it feels like a story with no landing point. It just feels like it's just all over the place, and it seems like it should be freaky as fuck, but it just doesn't have any base to go off of, and it never lands. This movie's the same.
Is it Nickelback?
But it just doesn't do it, man. It just doesn't fucking do it. Like, the movie, it looks amazing. The characters are really good. The Detective Goodman, I can't say his name. I think he was in Terrifier. Damian Bashir.
He's not bad.
I loved him. He just sits around smoking cigarettes.
Yeah,
he has the look of some guy who would be amazing as the lead in a really scary fucking horror movie or a detective in a detective movie. He's really, really good.
They gave him Injustice because they didn't write and flesh his part out.
Yeah, he looked it. He looked the part. He seemed cool. Like, he had it down. But the characters, like, how does a detective do an entire investigation without ever stepping foot in a house? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Because that motherfucker's cursed.
Yeah, but like they jump around so fucking much that you can't ever like get scared or like get invested in any of the characters. Yeah. And it's like a beautiful fucking vehicle with no engine inside of it.
Yeah, you said that earlier. I actually that's a really good analogy. I would agree with that. That's like getting inside of a Rolls Royce and then realizing the fucking engine's not in there. Like, this is like the prototype. Like, yeah, but I ordered the car now.
I gotta get the Domino's.
You know what? It's national.
I gotta work, man.
You know what? It's National Lampoon's Vacation when he shows up and he wants that one car and they give him that shitty green one. And he's like, yeah, but I got the other car. He's like, well, this is what we have. Yeah. We couldn't really. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, well, I got that. But
it's pretty. It looks good. It has all the looks and feels to what could be a really scary horror movie. And there's some people. It's like half of the people who made this movie had the idea, and the other people were just like. Aimlessly Christmas shopping at the mall on the day before Christmas. Yeah. Like, they just weren't doing anything.
You big fat Pringle fuckers.
Whole lot of nothing.
You know what? I think that the director had the right idea. I think that he really did have a vision for what he wanted to do, but I think that they had 3 writers on this. He was one of them. But maybe one of the writers felt like they need to go a direct... Look, I don't know. Like, I mean, you have 3 people writing a script, and sometimes that works out okay. But when there's that many, too many fucking chefs in the kitchen, sometimes it doesn't always work because they're all going to have different visions, and then it kind of gets weird when you're trying to direct it. I think that I would say this, like, effectively in 2004, and I really do hate bringing up the original Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I know that's not the original one, but Junon, and then the remake, which popularized the Japanese horror film Junon.
This is Ju-on, right?
Or Ju-on, I don't know if I
You're like Junon.
Junon. I got a pack of Junon. Do you want to share? But
America's best.
Oh God! But either way. I remember, and I think what was so stunning about that film, and whether or not the movie itself you hated or not, was the imagery, and taking away from that, at least you got a villain. You know what I mean? Like the villain of the Grudge remake and of Junon or Ju-on or however you fucking say it. I feel like I'm enunciating Alaska's capital. There was the Grudge girl. Everybody says the Grudge girl and the little boy that meows. In this one, there's fucking when you leave this movie, it's like. Who the fuck was it?
Like, sounds like a fucking Taco Bell secret menu item. I'll have the little boy that meows.
It does sound like that.
You're right though. There's no villain. It's all over the fucking.
And that's
place.
what I mean. Like when you walk out of the film, you're like, because when I watched The Grudge with Michelle Gellar, and then I knew about the Japanese original horror film. And you would know who the villain is. And it's clear in your mind when you walk out, like what the fucking villain looks like, what they are, how they move, what they do. When you walk out of this, like Like everybody hates me. Like it's like everybody was it's like okay, so there was nothing. It was like the air was the fucking villain. Like I don't know.
Like, so if you ask me like who's the villain, they'd be like, the villain is everywhere.
It's like
it's everywhere, man.
Like, look inside yourself, bro. The villain is you. It's a reflection of you. That's spit. I'm sorry. It's a reflection of you.
So true, though.
It's a reflection of you. Look in the mirror. That's the Grudge. The House of Grudge.
It's dead on, dude.
House of Grudge.
Honestly, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because.
Oh, you gave it higher than me.
Dude, I love the opening. The opening was cool when they gave the
I thought it was gonna be like fucking gnarly.
Yeah, like, man, the title drop and when they found that car and shit, like it was so cool. And like the whole movie, like the characters were good and you liked them, but they kept jumping around everywhere. John Cho was great. Lin Shaye was great. The two main detectives were great. It's just like there was no, like that was it. I think you nailed it. There's no villain. They're like, I don't know what to be scared of.
Who do I root for? It's so confusing in 2020 already.
Dead in the middle, man. Like it's like a really well made horror movie that forgot to be a fucking horror movie.
I'm gonna give the movie a 4.0. Like, and honestly, I was shocked that, like, again, I got scared in some parts, and some parts did unnerve me a little bit, and like I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But they didn't capitalize on anything that they could have capitalized on, and like I feel like the movie itself, the entire movie, while good in certain aspects, like I feel like they missed the mark, and like it was a bunch of like shoulda, coulda, woulda, kind of like segments of the film. Like
I think I just did it.
I fucked myself. But I missed opportunities, man. Like that I really feel like The Grudge. If it was remade correctly and done in a way that was effective, and not only just the atmosphere building and building on the mythology, and you don't always have to have jump scares and stuff, but making a clear indicator of who the villain is, who the good guys are, and building those characters out from there, and not trying to do too much at once, then I think you've got a great hit on your hands. And I think that's also what happened. I think that he was trying to do a lot at once, and there was a lot of things, like you said, there was a shit ton of going on. A shit ton of... And it's like he couldn't focus in on what he wanted. I mean, you're not making fucking Avengers Infinity War, okay? You don't need 80 fucking people in it. You need a family that's wholesome or whatever, and they maybe have some problems, and then do a curse thing on it, and then like the fucking, that's scary. And then you build up the atmosphere, and you kind of explore the history of that girl and that girl. It's pretty simple, but either way, I didn't like it as much as Mike. But it's still, what we're saying is, even a 4.0 to a 5.0, it's in the middle. So if you're a fan of the Grudge films, if you like Grudge 1, 2, and 3, then you'll probably get a kick out of the movie.
Yeah, it's probably worth seeing.
Yeah. If you don't like those movies and you don't like kind of a cheap thrill, then you're gonna avoid the movie.
Exactly. If you want to go to the theater and be scared and have an entertaining ride, you're gonna want to wait.
I mean, it's better than Black Christmas, I'm sure. But
God, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still not a good horror movie. Yeah. Like
I show you hot dump better than Black Christmas.
I saw you but I would say honestly, it's not that bad, but it does. When we were watching it, I felt like I had flashbacks to when we watched Silent Hill Revelation, or the last Silent Hill movie that we saw in theaters.
Yeah. That was at least like vibrant,
but it was pretty bad. Like I mean, it was a Universal Studio ride.
I'll say this: I would actually watch this above watching the original Grudge again. But I hated the original Grudge.
I think the original American Grudge. I would agree with you because the actors are better in it. I mean, I do like Geller because I think she did a good job with the film, but I feel like the villain of the film was way more effective.
Fair enough. So comment down below.
And then you got a little boy goes, get a job. I would tell that little boy, he's like, get a job and some Vitamin for your fucking asthma.
Comment down below your all thoughts. By the way, guys, if you don't know, really quick, Revenge of the Action Movie, our second channel, is born. It has arisen. It is in the link down below.
It has begun.
Bloodsport, a 30-minute, basically short documentary about Bloodsport, is in the link down below. So please, guys, if you would go subscribe to that, support our new venture.
I wish that we had been like our channel had broken up for like 2 months, and then we come back together. You know what I mean? And we like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. That list of enemies, but slaves up to my power. Revenge of the Action Movie would happen. By the way, the Grudge bitch is Kyoko. I saw that and I was like, I didn't want to say the wrong thing because Kyoko I thought was the ring girl.
Sudoku, yeah.
Sudoku.
It's a game of skills.
Sudoku.
I love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button because some goddamn my penis.
You just popped your hole. And you became a pterodactyl. Wow, it's morphin' time. Hemorrhoid cream. Mike needs it. Go. Boop, 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 boop.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie.